I'm not dumb enough to say, no, there's not, because I understand anecdotal evidence is still evidence. Bad evidence is still evidence. Garbage evidence is still evidence. Evidence that rises to the level of curiosity but isn't sufficient to actually result in belief soundly, still evidence.
I think there is evidence for Islam and evidence for Hinduism. Well, I just think it's outweighed, but I think there's evidence for atheism.
Okay, so you're using a historian's context of evidence, not a scientific context of evidence.
I'm using the Bayesian context of evidence.
Historians will use a context of evidence that you can have good evidence or bad evidence.
Bad evidence is still evidence.
Evidence that weighs against other evidence, and you can read, because it's all interpretations of writing, then you can have indications to a particular interpretation, and they will call that evidence of that interpretation, and others will, of course, interpret it differently. But science has a different definition where you can't have the same evidence be evident of two different mutually exclusive conclusions at the same time.
One eternity later.
You acted as though you believed the following proposition. One piece of data can't support mutually exclusive hypotheses.
No, that's why I've expressed earlier in this discussion quite opposite. I did not express that thing. I said, you can have data that supports either view, but then it's just a fact. Now, you can do that in history for the reasons I just explained, but you can't do it in science. I don't see how that's funny. That's just a fact.
It just have you read anything about Bayes' theorem?
No, I haven't.